It is Monday, June 16th, 2025, 6:31 p.m. And this is a meeting of the Bolton Advisory Committee, a rare Monday evening meeting. And we've got just a couple of topics on the agenda. So first up is to just take a few minutes and maybe have a quick discussion about the budget process that we went through in preparation for FY26. That started way back in December when we initially got together and kind of did a preview of the budget, and then of course met almost every week from January through April, culminating in the annual town meeting in May. So any thoughts or feedback on how the process went, and maybe things that went well or things that we could improve next time around? Or maybe it was so fantastic that we shouldn't do anything differently.
We've always got the complaint about getting the school budget late and getting the school having it come in too high. Nothing we can do about that, I suppose. Well, some of it we can do, but the costs are the costs.
Yeah, I think the select board is going to make a real attempt going into FY27 to try to have discussions earlier and see what we can do about getting some details, early enough to maybe influence things.
Well, given some of the things that were outlined as far as what we're going to do moving forward, does it make sense for us to meet a little bit earlier than December to have discussion about the budget?
Yeah, we could certainly try to start the process earlier. I think, one of the things that we've always keyed it off of was when the note went out to the town departments to start their budget preparation process.
To that end, did folks find the budget narratives helpful from the departments? Not helpful? It took some time. Were they accessible on the site? Keep it this year, drop it. Seeking your feedback.
So I personally like them because especially in some of the salary and personnel lines, because one of the ways to get an understanding of how many people and what are impacting some of the changes from year to year were those narratives. So I found them helpful. And I thought that sharing everything in the viewpoint file structure there was great.
What I can do for next year is add an additional attachment location for those narratives. This year we realized pretty late in the game that we needed an additional place. Otherwise, it appeared as one file that replaced the other one. So I could certainly do that before next fall.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts?
Sort of as part of the off cycle, though, before the budget letter goes out, advisory has the responsibility of designating a funding source for capital stabilization. But it makes sense, to start, to have that sort of resolved prior to getting all of the budgets in from town departments.
Okay. I didn't realize that, but okay. So you're looking for input from us prior to that in terms of just an amount, or is there something more?
The funding source itself, actually, or what are the funding parameters? Because I know there are amazing policies describing, what is done, but this is a new stabilization fund for capital, and so how would advisory want to configure it? Would the funding source be free cash? Would it be this percentage? Would it be some other recurring revenue?
I see. Okay, so that's something we'll need to do prior to November, I guess.
What are our limitations there, as far as funding sources?
And in terms of for regular recurring,
Yeah.
the other realization is as Ninotchka pulls together the amazing spreadsheet showing all of our projected, sort of offsets and local receipts, if you're taking a source that's also backfilling local receipts, you see what I'm saying, then you just
Yeah.
drop local receipts. But there aren't really super duper limitations.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing we're on the hook for this year, coming out of the budget cycle, is we've been asked to put together a forecast, a future forecast, and present that to the select board every year in the fall. So this fall will be our first time through this. I thought, maybe we'd kind of relax a little bit for the summer and maybe September-ish or something, get together again and start working through both revenue projections and potential scenarios of future operating expense scenarios.
What period would that be, Bob?
We said 5 to 10 years, or we're asked to do 5 to 10 years. So thinking that, at least 5 years, we'll see if we could extend it to 10, but as you know, it gets less and less really relevant or meaningful when you start getting too far out.
Sure.
Okay. Any other discussion on FY26 budget process? All right. Next agenda item then, I'm pleased to report that both Craig Lauer and Bill Nichols have been reappointed to the advisory committee for 3-year terms. Welcome back. And that's great news. And I apologize, but I didn't realize that we don't do Zoom swearing ins anymore. So you guys will have to try to make your way to town hall at some point and get sworn in.
So we
But
have
you're
to drive
up
all the
until
way across town.
sorry, what was that, Bill? Sorry.
All right. So we have to drive all the way across town.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Other than that, we have a few transfer requests and meeting minutes to approve. So I think I saw Randy here. I think we could just start with those. There are 2 transfer requests from DCW, and I will share my screen and pull those up. Oh, Jenny, you'll have to work your magic, so let me share my screen. Still can't share. Oh. Maybe. Okay. I think it's working now. Here we go.
Success.
Okay, can everyone see that? Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, so this is the first one. And let me see, so, Randy, this was for a roof repair, right?
No, this is as a result of a roof repair.
Oh.
We had to repair the roof at the library. I think I spoke to you about this when we were going over our budgets.
Yeah,
It turned into be a quite a project. We found some significant rot in the elevator shaft. So the whole exterior of the elevator shaft had to be pulled off and replaced. So that $21,000 expenditure for the roof of the library has really put us in the hole, and there's been a real challenge. So this is the first request you'll probably see of at least another one to get us through the end of the year with some invoices that are still outstanding. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 invoices listed here. One of them is our annual cleaning, monthly cleaning contract. We had to do a repair at the public safety building, the HVAC system. That was $2,900. Effective services had to come out. We had a problem with the fire alarm at the public safety building. That was $1,200. And then Battle Line Pest Management. We have a pest service that helps us control the rat and rodent population around all the town buildings. That's $439. That's every month. So
Yep.
right now our building 190 is in the hole it's in the hole $2,091. This would bring this 6,800 will bring us positive by about $24, I guess, something like that. You see the total there at the bottom is 6772. I just rounded up to $6,800.
okay,
You know, we wouldn't be having this be meeting tonight if it wasn't for the repair of the roof at the library.
okay, any questions from the advisory committee? So Randy, just to keep things kind of clean, I'm inclined to vote on just the exact amount, the 6772.70 versus the rounded up number. Is that okay with you? Any concerns?
Yeah, whatever you choose. I just thought it was easier to round up, but whatever you choose to do.
I think from the accounting perspective, it actually might be easier to just keep it exact. Okay, if there are no questions, is there a motion to approve the DPW transfer request for $6,772.70?
I move we approve the transfer request of $6,772.70 to the DPW.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call. Craig,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay,
All right, thank you.
that was that one. So Randy, you have another one in here.
Yeah, this is a big one. This is has not been spent. This is a quote for the digital control system for the HVAC system at the public safety building. It was identified, I think, in our building assessment plan, and I had actually submitted it as a capital request for last budget cycle to go out for bid to replace the control system at both the library and the public safety building. Well, due to my luck, the one at the public safety building has failed. Right now, it's running on manual. We had a problem with the computer and the Jace, and we requested an updated quote from the same vendor that we have currently, and they came up with this price of $17,988. It's a several week lead time for the equipment as well. So Marie and I had a conversation on whether we thought it was appropriate to bring it before the advisory committee tonight, or to hold until after July 1st. And I said, well, if we held it till after July 1st, I'd be advised just to use 190, and then we'll be in the kind of the same boat that we're in tonight. And so he said, where it's the end of the fiscal year, I guess you do still have some advisory reserve funds available to you. Does it make sense to, initiate the project now, get it going, encumber those funds so that it's not a hit on next year's budget? Marie, if
Right.
you want to comment, or if I said anything incorrect, let me.
You've
Please correct
captured our discussion, yeah. And so there's also the question, well, you could just wait a couple more weeks. We would be in the same predicament, but likewise, Randy really wants to get the system installed well before the heating system season heating. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when I
Undoubtedly, there's
saw-
going to be, go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bob.
Oh, I was going to say, when I saw this, that my concern was with the practical applications of what year's funding we would use. So my understanding is that if the contract is signed and the work begins before July 1st, we would encumber the FY25 funds and we could use those. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so if the funds become encumbered, then does it matter if we pre-approve the funds, or we just come back later after you've been invoiced and then we vote to move the funds?
In effect, though, the only difference is, Randy could not authorize the contract until after July 1st, until he is aware that he has funds for it. Right? But the line,
that's correct.
Constrained. He can't agree to pay if he doesn't have certainty that, the funds are there.
Yeah, I was looking at it this way too, that because it's at the fiscal year, I don't know what other transfers you got before you, but if there was money available, any money that you had left over in your accounts would just go into free cash for next year. But unfortunately, we can't wait for free cash because, typically, I think free cash is certified, late summer, early fall timeline, in which case,
It would require a town meeting anyway.
Yeah. So I thought this was a cleaner way of going. I hate going in and starting July 1st and all of a sudden have a big bill and then knowing I'm going to be in the hole at the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, I'm not at all questioning the need for this or trying to slow it down. I mean, I'd love to see you get moving as soon as possible too.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we do this, Bob, when the money hasn't been spent? I mean, or do we just do sort of a formal thing saying, Randy, go ahead and commit?
Yeah, that might be a good question for Marie or Randy. If we were just to give you a verbal that we have the funds to cover this, we have no concerns with this, please proceed. Is that good enough? Or
Without an appropriation, I'm not at all comfortable signing. I don't think I would send it over to Marie for signature either, because that could get us into some issues as well. I think Ninochka may have an issue with it too.
well, I mean, we just approved a transfer request to cover some repair costs that we incurred when we didn't have sufficient funds. So, I mean, that's typically the way we do this, right? An invoice comes in, and if there are insufficient funds in your account, then we transfer them. We typically don't.
We will, again, it's a several week lead time for the equipment. We're not going to see an invoice for probably August for this equipment. We're not going to see an invoice at the end of the month.
Right, but could we get the contract signed and get the work started before the end of the month, which my understanding then is it's okay to use FY25 funds.
We could sign the contract if we had a vote that the contract amount, the 17,988, was available on a vote from advisory from the reserve fund. Now to encumber, and then in August, it'll be charged back.
What do other people think? I mean, you know,
I mean, I have the same concern you have. I mean, I'm fine with that we need to do this, and it's the timing, and I just don't know all the rules and accounting and state laws and all that kind of stuff on a situation like this.
Marie, what do you suggest?
Well, it seems your two choices are, sort of the approval of this, although there isn't an invoice, or the DPW is starting next year in, with having behind from their estimates. And we delay until July 1 to contract with Burnell.
Well, I think there's sort of an in-between option, which is we say we will hold back about $18,000 in the reserve fund funds, go ahead and start, and then once there is an invoice, there will still be these funds available to allocate.
Well, the contract is binding. The contract, once we sign an agreement in a contract, that's a binding agreement. So it's essentially, you're committing those funds at the time that contract is signed. For instance, if we have an encumbrance that we have to carry over, we either have a purchase order that we've got that we turn into Nanotchka with an amount, or a contract that we turn in with an amount on it. That is the mechanism for Nanotchka to encumber those funds. I mean, I don't know how, I'm not sure what the best way of doing this either. But again, I didn't want to get into FY26 and be $17,000 in the hole. I've already got about $11,000 in sprinkler system repairs that I pushed off till after July 1st for the same reason. But this is a little bit more important, I think, than the sprinkler system.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too bad we're being forced under essentially an emergency type situation to do this, because my goal was to, put it out for bid, both the library and the public safety building, and, perhaps get input from other vendors and, other contractors, and figure out, is this the best system that we have or not? I mean, the company that we have now is sort of responsive. They're not entirely 100% responsive, but they're sort of responsive. I don't know if it's better for many other vendors out there, but unfortunately, we're not in that position now. We don't have the time to, hire a consultant, put specs together, put it out on the street, and get it installed in a short period before winter. We just don't have that time. We don't have that luxury.
Right.
Yeah, generally, my only concern with this, and I'm unclear on the timing. Well, certainly, we gotta do what's appropriate with the state laws and good accounting. How old was this thing before they stopped supporting it?
It was original to the building back in 2010. And the manufacturer stopped supporting it back in 2021.
So their support lasted 11 years.
Yep.
Ish. That doesn't seem like much for an HVAC system, but
it's the electronic controller. It's not the motors or any of the compressors or any of that. It's the electronic brains of the system.
Right. Yeah. It's like the unit on your furnace that reacts to the thermostats.
Basically.
I mean, I'm sure that's oversimplifying.
All right. Does anyone
Go
have
ahead,
significant heartburn with approving this with just on the basis of a quote without an invoice?
I do not.
Okay, is there a motion to approve a transfer request to DPW for $17,988?
I move we approve the transfer request of $17,988 to the DPW.
I'll second it.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay, there you go, Randy. Good luck.
All right, thank you. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news and questions.
Yeah, no, it's an unusual situation. We're sort of at the end of the fiscal year. It's, somewhat of an emergency repairs. It happens. Okay,
All right, thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.
thank you.
You too,
Take
Ed.
care. Okay, we have one other transfer request, not to be forgotten,
No.
our monthly legal bills associated with ongoing litigation.
Yes.
This one's 4758. Oh, wait, sorry.
Only requesting 1698.
Right, the request is only for 1690. Good. Any questions or if not, is there a request, is there a motion to approve the legal request for 1698?
I move we approve the 1698 for legal services.
I will second that.
Roll call, Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Excellent. Okay, that's it for transfer requests. Going into tonight, we had about $78,000 remaining. So after tonight, we've got 18, 25. Yeah, we got about 50,000 left. All right, and we had a whole series of, minutes to approve. Bill has been making amazing progress in getting minutes ready to go. So here we go. I think I'll do these. I'll try to do these in order, but this is back from January 28th. Any concerns or comments on this one? I'm going to do this with what Doug Story calls the consent agenda. If that's okay, we'll run through all of them and vote on the whole block as one. I'm
Okay.
good with it. Okay. Good.
Where's my clicker?
All right, let's see. That was January. Here's one from February 4th. All good here.
Yep.
Sure.
February 25th. Short and sweet.
Yeah, and also I was not in attendance on this one, and the Zoom recording started about 30 minutes late. Because I believe the start time was 6 and the Zoom started up at 6:30. So if I missed anything, I apologize.
Yeah, I don't recall if there was anything more to the meeting than what you've got here.
Okay.
Bill, did you go to the Bolton Access for that link?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Because I can see if the recording is still in Zoom, because that should have the entire recording.
Okay, well, there wasn't a quorum, so I don't think anything material was missed, so.
Oh, perfect.
Here's March 4th. And finally, maybe, this is April 29th. Again, very short and sweet. Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes from, let's see, January 29th, February 4th, February 25th,
March 4th.
March 4th, and April 29th?
I'll make a motion that we approve those dates, committee meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call. Craig,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. All right, excellent. Thanks, everyone. So we've got about 2 more weeks left in the fiscal year. And then you'll recall from last year that we actually have another 2 weeks into the next fiscal year that we can still make adjustments from for FY25. So, and there's always a few things moving around in these last few weeks. So I'm not aware of anything yet, but I would expect we'll have 1 or 2 more quick meetings before July 15th. And I'll keep everyone posted as those come up.
Okay.
Anybody have anything? No? All right, if not, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Night.
Summer. Take care.